I have to gather my thought. We were at the third point, right?
Yes, we're at the third point.
Well, my name is Corina Dekker, and I'm the director of a local early childhood center in Coral Gables. And we work with children ages 1 through kindergarten, so we cover the early childhood years very much. One of the main reasons why I hired Lina is because those early childhood years are very important years. The brain development that a child experiences in those early years, their gross motor skill development, their fine motor skill development, language development, but most importantly social emotional development, is something that I feel that a lot of schools may have very qualified teachers, but it helps to have that external support system in place, somebody who really knows what makes young children tick, so to speak. And that was one of the main reasons why we started working with Lina as an organization. So for our school, they do the following things. They provide professional development for our teachers, so that my teachers can be the best and most effective teachers in the classroom, gain a better insight in child development, and learn those important strategies in the classroom to manage and guide behavior, to support a child in their development, and most importantly, to make sure they get to know each child individually. I think that is so important. Every child, and every adult for that matter, has a need to be known and understood. And when you work as a teacher in a classroom, sometimes with 8 children, sometimes with 15 children, our kindergarten class has anywhere between 20 and 24 children, it's very important as a teacher that you have the knowledge base and the skills to get to know each one of your students, because what works for one child may not necessarily work for another child. So that's what they do for our teaching staff. They provide parent education workshops. I'm a firm believer in collaborating between school and families. I believe that what we are practicing in our school in terms of classroom practice, if we can help our parents understand that better and give them the same tools that we use in the classroom, the same strategies, the same tips, that they can do that at home as well with their children, their child will get a very similar message, and it'll make the transitions from home to school and school to home a lot easier. Most of our children are with us anywhere between 3 hours to 6 hours a day, sometimes a little bit longer if they are in our extended care program. So you really become a home away from home. So I think it's incredibly important that parents know what our philosophy is, who we are, and what we are doing on a daily basis to support their children. And it's not only about teaching them how to read, how to write, learn their colors, their numbers, that social emotional development, I really feel triumphs everything in early childhood education and in the early childhood years. We are a small private school. We don't have in-house support available as some of the other bigger educational institutions do. So we don't have language speech pathologists on our staff. We don't have a psychologist on our staff. We don't have occupational therapists on our staff. So knowing someone like Lina who has access to different resources is very helpful when we do want to work with a family and a child a little bit more to support their development. If we have noticed that there may be a possible delay, we are not doctors, we do not diagnose. So aside from a reference back to the pediatrician, if you have a good relationship with parents, which is our ultimate goal in our school, is to start those conversations, and then it's very helpful when you can give them a person or different sources to go to find that extra support for their child when we all feel that that is something that could benefit the child. I think one of the biggest aha moments for everyone has been is one, understanding that as a early childhood professional, when you work with children in the classroom, that every child is unique and that their behavior always tells us a story. And I think we quite often as parents, but also as teachers in the classroom, you focus very much on the behavior of a child, but that behavior is the end result. That child is telling you a story. And it's very helpful when we can kind of backtrack and kind of understand why something is happening. So a very simple example is a child who has arrived and is crying, and you may only notice the child crying and say something to the effect of, like, stop crying, you're okay, no crying now. But we are learning as teachers in the classroom to narrate for the child what is happening. So a great strategy that Lena is working with all of us on, and it takes time and practice to kind of master these type of skills and strategies, is to say to the child, you're crying, to acknowledge feelings. Your mommy just left, but you're going to be okay, you're safe, we love you, and this is what we're going to do. So to narrate for the child what's happening, to acknowledge feelings, and to help that child through that big moment or that sad moment or that challenging moment. So I think my staff is definitely starting to see, like, when you acknowledge feelings specifically, how powerful that is. A child who's having a tantrum, if you can just be nearby and just acknowledge you're upset, you're stomping your feet, you're crying, your fists are like this, 9 out of 10 times a child will stop, because you've just told them that you know what they're feeling, what they're going through. And that's powerful. And usually that helps with calming down a child. And then, you have the opportunity to talk about what happened, or why something wasn't okay or not safe, and go from there. So I think those are 2 big aha moments. Every child is unique, that every child is an individual, that you as a parent have to also understand what is important to you. Same way as a school, you have to know who you are, what your philosophy is, what your mission is, what you consider, best classroom practices. And I think when you put all of that together and you have someone like Lena that can help put that all together, I think it's a win-win situation.